Do you want to take this and do this?
Then join me, Terrence Irvin, Parish Program Coordinator for the Great Ascension Trash Bash, held on March 26th through the 31st. There will be a Trash Bash Award ceremony on Saturday the 31st at 11 a.m. at the Ascension Chamber of Commerce in Gonzales.
There'll be food, prizes, and fun for the whole family. Bring the kids, bring your family, bring your friends. But most of all, bring your love for this parish. That's the Great Ascension Parish Trash Bash. Let's clean it up together.
The Ascension Parish Council meeting of March 1st, 2007 will come to order. I'll ask Ms. Fontenot if she will give our invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, as always, we come bearing thanksgiving. We thank you for the many blessings that you bestowed upon Ascension Parish. We ask that you give us the wisdom and the courage to do the parish's business this night. Father, once again, parish government has suffered a loss. We ask that you comfort the Brock family throughout this ordeal. We also pray for our soldiers and for our men and women that are serving this country to bring us safety and to fight wars abroad to keep them from our shores. We ask that you bring them home safely. We ask all these things as always in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, all members present, Madam Secretary. Chair's additions. I do have a request for a two-thirds request for a funding. Mr. Babin, would you explain that for a second, please, for the council members that may not be aware of it?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the council, Mr. Hughes, we are, as you know, engaging in a journey to expand the jail facility. The jail capacity has been over capacity for several years. Post-Katrina, that has not helped. There's been about a 25% increase in arrests in Ascension Parish. The jail is overcrowded. You are paying for and housing female inmates in St. Charles Parish, and you have also agreed to fund the housing of some inmates in other parishes. We are attempting to expand the jail, and the first step is you have, I think, retained the services of an architectural firm to draw up the jail plans. One thing we have to do is that the physical site the jail sits on is too small to handle the expansion. We need some additional property next to the jail. The property is owned by an estate, and the owners of the estate, that the title to the property is very difficult to chain. In fact, it's impossible to chain. We've looked at it for some time. Our recommendation is that the parish expropriate the property, deposit the money in the registry of the court, notify those we can, and proceed from there. In order to do that, to acquire the property, we're asking the parish council to approve the expropriation suit, to also fund the expropriation. I have placed before you a map and 2 pages of an appraisal report from River Parish appraisers.
Mr. Chairman, I move to amend the agenda to include this item.
Moved by Councilman McConnell, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any other discussion, any questions of our counsel, Mr. Babin? Any objection to putting it on the agenda? Okay, at that time, we'll put that under the general business as 17A.
17A?
17A, under general business. I do not have any other information as far as any other items that need to be placed on the agenda. Agenda item number 4, public comment period. Please sign in with the secretary if you would wish to comment on any items that is on the agenda tonight. I do have one pass item, number 15. We will not take up number 15 tonight on this resolution. This has not been resolved yet, and so we will not deal with item number 15. Agenda item number 5, presentations. Any presentations? Do not have any listed. Any, Mr. Patterson? None. Mr. Lambert would like a second to announce something about the Drainage Board. Mr. Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to remind everybody that we have the NACO convention going on, and the Drainage Board meeting is scheduled for this Monday. We are moving it to the 12th, which will be the second Monday. So I just want to remind everybody that Drainage Board meeting is on the 12th of March. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Agenda item number 6. Little bird told me that it's the parish president's birthday today. Is that true? That's true?
That could be true.
That could be true. So at this time, we'll have the parish president give his report on his birthday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And as the staff told me today, I don't look a day over 75, and that means I've only aged about 18 years in the last 3 years. But good evening to everybody. It's good to be here with you tonight. I used to think 60 was pretty old. Now I think it's kind of young. And it's exciting to experience life and to live life and all that's going on in our parish. Several of us went to the police jury conference last weekend. In case you haven't heard, Congressman Clyde Holloway has been recently appointed by President Bush to be over the United States Department of Agriculture in this region, and he's going to be working with us on several things. We'll be making a trip to Alexander shortly to meet with our representative out of AMIT, to meet with him on some of the programs that are available in communities of less than 10,000 people, and we don't really have any communities, quote unquote, that have more than that. Even our municipalities have less. And so those are some things we're working on. In addition, that conference spent a good bit of time on emergency preparedness as we prepare for the upcoming hurricane season. And in addition, as I think I mentioned recently, more details is coming out on the possibilities and probabilities and preparations for pandemics, of a flu variety or whatever, and the event that was recently held in Region 2. The state has now structured the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Operations to where each of the regions of the state has a representative from the state office assigned to that region, and we're in Region 2. And that individual is the person that would coordinate and be a liaison from the state office and our local office. In addition to this, the requirements being imposed by the Federal Office of Homeland Security and FEMA and other parts and agencies within that office, and if you haven't got yourself up to date on the National Incident Management Systems and Incident Command Systems, I encourage you to do so you at least have a working knowledge of that. The operational plans it's a lot more intense, it's a lot more involved than it was in the past. And so our new director is working on a lot of things with consultation with Dr. Keller to address these issues. And it looks like that aspect of federal and state government is going to also cause local government to expand, to have these various positions in place to be prepared, both from a terrorism point of view, a medical emergency point of view, in the form of a flu pandemic, either caused by terrorists or naturally, as well as preparations for seasonal events such as hurricanes and things. And so you'll be getting more information on this as members of the council so you can understand the organizational structure of this. And the gentleman who's been assigned to our region works with all the parishes within that region. He's been in our parish recently. If you have an opportunity to meet him, you need to do so. In addition, we have with us tonight Cheryl Kinchin, our recreation director, and some young people. You know we're working on a skateboard deal, so you're doing that under my report tonight, Cheryl? Okay. So if you would give your attention to our recreation director and her group of young people with her, and we welcome them to the meeting tonight.
Last summer we started the process by bringing a petition to your attention that there was a need for a skate plaza in Ascension Parish. We brought to you the facts about the economic impact and the number of skateboarders. And I just want to have them all stand up because they traveled across the river to be with us tonight. So stand up, guys. They made a really great video to show you the places that they've been skating, sometimes with the welcome of the site they're skating, most often not. But the Recreation Committee saw their video last night, and they can tell you, too, that they're a very focused young group, and I hope that they will recommend to you that we have a skate plaza. But I have Mr. Eric Poche here from SJB, who we contracted with to assess 3 sites, and I just wanted him to give you a very quick summary of those 3 sites and what we decided, or what we're recommending. The Recreation Committee will also tell you that skateboarding is an $8 billion a year business.
Good evening. Thank you for hearing me this evening. As Ms. Cheryl said, we made a presentation to the Recreation Committee last night. Basically, SJB Group was contracted at the end of the summer last year to analyze 3 sites that were chosen by the Recreation Department for the possibility of implementing a skate plaza or skateboard park in Ascension Parish. The 3 sites that were chosen were Prairieville Park, Reynolds-Lambert Park, or the Ascension Civic Center, as well as Hillaryville Park. Based on a set of criteria such as location, size, shape, roads and accessibility, utility access and availability, flood zones, wetland determinations, and the general conditions of the property, we performed our analysis and basically grade things on a scale of 1 to 10. The 2 that were neck and neck were the Ascension Civic Center as well as Prairieville Park. Ascension Civic Center seemed to have a little bit more property associated with it. The accessibility and it being more central to the parish gave it a little bit of a leg up, as well as the fact that there are not a number of residences around in the immediate vicinity of that park, because there would, I'm sure, certainly be some complaining by surrounding residents if we tried to put it at Prairieville. And although Prairieville is in a higher density portion of the parish, that would probably cause a problem. And so we decided that the Ascension Civic Center would be the site, the best site for a skate plaza. Then, a few months back, the issue with the school board rescinding the lease came up, so we put things on hold. And it's my understanding that there has been no activity and no notification to rescind the lease. So we would like to pursue that avenue, contact the school board, and get an agreement with them to allow us to put a lease on the property for the portion that we would like to put the skate park in, so we didn't have any problems with it. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you right now.
I do have a little more information.
Okay.
Dealing with that. I did talk with President Ed Price of the school board just before this meeting, and we do have a meeting set up. Some members of the council, I think, will be traveling to Washington, but I do have a meeting set up with him Tuesday, he and probably Chad Lynch and the superintendent, to talk about the possibility of that situation. From that meeting, I will probably give some directions to Ms. Kinchin, actually back to the parish president, and he can direct Ms. Kinchin on exactly which way we need to go as far as approving, use some time to talk with the school board. We have to realize that the Civic Center, we lease it, but it sits on 16 section land, which is school board property.
Correct.
So therefore, there is a liability with the school with school board. At one time, we did have a BMX track over there that was that the school board granted to a group of citizens in the parish, and they maintained it for a couple of years, and then it just kind of died, so we leveled the ground again. So there can be some discussion. But it will have to be after next Tuesday, and that's what the date that we have set. So we appreciate the report.
Okay.
Any other questions of Eric? Okay, Ms. Sherry.
I just wanted to mention at the Recreation Committee last night, we had talked about setting up a meeting with Chairman or Councilman Joseph. So I don't know, do you still think?
I'll be out of town on that day.
Okay, so I guess we can wait till after they meet and then we can go from there? That sounds like.
And Ms. Kitchen,
That sounds great.
I may make it available for you to be there if
Sure.
it meets your schedule.
Sure.
So you have a whole lot more input and maybe even Eric. So
Chairman.
we'll see, okay?
Sounds
Yes,
great.
Mr. Dillon's back.
Yeah, I was at the meeting last night, recreation meeting, and that was the motion that the director and the chairman both meet with the facilities committee, chaired by school board member Jody Ellisar, and make the presentation to their committee as far as what we'd like to do over there. And so we're working it through the committee process.
Right, well, I understand. The only reason I say that meeting is up is because Mr. Ed Price just called me just for this meeting to discuss and said he wanted to meet as soon as possible. That's why we're going to meet with him first.
That's great.
Thank you.
And I just want to close by saying, I want to quote from you the latest issue of Recreation Management. More and more communities realize that it's better to provide kids with a safe place to skate than to have them skating on the street and in public places like downtown districts. Dangerous for skaters and not always welcome to local businesses. So again, we're asking, give them a safe place to skate. Skateboarding should not be illegal.
Thank you, Ms. King.
Thank you, Cheryl. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Parish President. We'll move on now to agenda item number 7, consent agenda. Adopt the regular minutes of the meeting of February 1st. Moved by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item number 8, Utilities Committee, Chairman Jared Barriger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 8A, resolution authorizing the parish president and chief financial officer to sign all documents related to subcontract agreement with UNO.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Shakespeare, second by Mr. Savoy. Discussion. Any opposition? So moved.
8B, resident project representative cost of $120,000, Harryville wastewater sewer project, URS. Mr. Chairman, as you know, in our utilities meeting, right before this meeting, there is an amendment to the $120,000. If you don't mind, we'll ask Mr. Israel to give us the exact cost until, I believe, it's October.
Thank you, Mr. Jared. Yes, URS's proposal is that our engineering contract be extended or added to by a sum of $90,000 to cover inspection, a full-time inspector on site whenever the contractor is working at the sewer, the Hillsborough sewer project for a total of $90,000.
And Mr. Chairman, that was a unanimous recommendation of the Utilities Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Shakespeare, second by Ms. Savoy. Miss Fontenot. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Israel.
And Mr. Chairman, final note, understand that the EID, the Environmental Information Document, has been approved by EPA, and we just waiting on the funds, finally, after about 3 years. That completes the report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman Barrett. Agenda item number 9, Personnel Committee, Mr. Savoy.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10, the Recreation Committee, Mr. Oliver Joseph.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we do have a report as previous stated that SGB made a presentation on skate park. Also, we got a report from Ms. Kincher, and we are changing our meeting to the second Tuesday of the month. Our next meeting will be March 13th at 5 p.m. at the Annex Building across the river, and that'll be our new meeting date for now on. That's complete my report.
Thank you, Councilman Joseph. Mr. Zahn, please make note of that. Okay, we'll move on now to the agenda item 11, Transportation Committee. Chairwoman Cheryl Fontenot. Ms. Fontenot?
Thank you, Mr. Valentine. I'm assuming that Mr. Ken Israel will give the updates on the roads and information.
Thank you, Ms. Fontenot. We had a meeting this afternoon with R.J. Daigle on the 2005 road construction project. And information passed on to you all this evening is that next Monday, if the weather permits, the contractor will be in the Lake Park Avenue, Lake Ridge Avenue section doing drainage work. Approximately a week later from that, he will start doing paving work. Thank you, Mr. McConnell. He hopes to be finished by the 23rd of March, weather permitting, in that subdivision. The contract is working or near completion on Raymond Bro. He's working on B. Phillips Drive and working on Betty Street. So those are where we stand now and on that. As far as state highway work, as we're coming in this evening, notice that they're doing more work at the intersection of Highway 70 and Highway 3125. They're doing work there also, so they're moving forward with that. And as told last week, they did accept bids on the LA 44 project from River Road to Interstate I-10. So I would hope within 90 days the contractor should be out there working, doing some work on that highway also.
Thank God.
Good news. Thank you.
Any questions?
Mr. Israel, are you prepared for the other items too? I see no one from DPW.
Yes, I'm prepared for at least, yes.
Let's move on to B then. Articles of agreement, detail, Boudreaux Road improvements.
That's correct.
Well, that one I don't have. Cheryl, do you have?
I have a copy of it here. As I remember, it was a bill for relocating
utilities by ETEL.
By ETEL.
And the Ascension Parish's share was $67,000.
It says here 59,000.
Okay, 59,000 something was Ascension Parish's share of that agreement.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Moved by Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Ms. Fontenot?
The next item is engineering services for Worthy Road.
Okay, I believe
And I don't think, we don't have any of that in our packet.
it was not. It was supposed to be.
Mr. Chairman, move to postpone until the next meeting.
That's not a problem. Moved by
Second.
Sheikh Snyder, second by Councilman Berger, that we postpone agenda item C, engineering service for Worthy Road. Any discussion? Any opposition?
Hold on, Mr. Chairman.
Yes?
These were all looked at in the Transportation Committee meeting.
Yeah.
And was approved. We don't need to hold up our road projects, road widening projects for this. We need to act on this.
I understand, Councilman Lambert.
Yeah.
Mr. Sheikh Snyder made a motion. That's what we got. We can discuss it. What's the figures? I mean, I don't see anything in front
I'll
of us.
make the motion that we accept the engineer services for the road.
You have to make a substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
Second.
Okay, substitute motion by Mr. Lambert that we accept the engineering services on Worthy Road. Second by Mr. Hillensbeck. Discussion.
Discussion.
Sheikh Snyder. Ms. Sheikh Snyder.
How much? And what
Total
we
is
talked about?
The total is $32,865, broken down as $4,485 for the alternate analysis, $6,043 for the redesign, and $22,337 for preparation of right-of-way maps. Purpose of that was there was a section where the road where the houses are very close to the road. The work was done to reduce the right-of-way so that we didn't have to get into moving these homes or damaging them such that it would cost the parish a lot more money for this work.
Mr. Chairman, I remember that discussion, and I withdraw my original motion.
Mr. Berger, did you want to make a comment on that? You said something. Okay. No?
The only comment would be, we don't have any information on D, E, and F neither. We just going to...
No, sir, I'm fixing to address that in just a minute. Mr. Savoy.
We do have F, excuse me.
Yeah, I've got questions for administration and the department. West Worthy Road is in the 2001 road widening project. Okay? To date, we have spent To date, we have spent $350,000 on Worthy Road. From 2001, now here we are in March of 2007. We finally find out that we can't acquire the right-of-way that we've been working on for so many years. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to change directions. How did this come to be so late in the game? And it's important for all of us to look at this, okay? Why, 7 years later, after we approve that project, we're going to find out that we can't get the right-of-way, and now we're going to come back and cost an additional $32,000 to try to get the project done. I understand getting the project done, and I'm supporting getting the project done, but we have to change the way we're addressing and approaching these jobs here. Another question I got is on the additional money. You've got $22,000 of right-of-way maps. In the original design that we've been working on since 2001, why do I not see any monies for right-of-way maps up to this point? But now we need a right-of-way maps of $22,337. That's a question I'd like answered.
Councilman Saddle.
That's some concerns I got on Worthy Road. We've been working on this a long time. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to realize that we can't get the right-of-way, and we're going to change the course. I'm sorry. That's not acceptable. However we approach this, it's not acceptable. We have to look at it.
Chair.
Okay, all right. One thing I need to point out right now. These were discussed in committee. Am I right, Ms. Fonda?
They were
The discussion dealing with the particulars of these situations, unless you want to make a point or a motion, needs to be done in the committee. Okay. I'm not real happy right at the present time because we do not have information dealing with all these situations. Now, I am going to give some leeway because we do have some situations within DPW that probably resulted in this situation. But it is incumbent on each chairman of each committee, when you give reports, to make sure that you have your information to give reports. Ms. Fontenot typically has Mr. Rue do the reports. I understand that, Ms. Fontenot, but we need to make sure that we have the information if we would do this. I understand your discussion, Mr. Savoy, but I will have to say let's stick to the substitute motion at hand. Substitute motion is to grant this. If you're in opposition for it, then you can state a case just like Mr. Savoy stated a case. Any other discussion? Yes, Mr. Thompson.
The reasoning for probably the right-of-way map because we changed a right-of-way agent, Mr. Savoy. That's what and also the scope of the widening were changed when they look at all the right-of-ways that the right-of-way that had to buy and had to purchase houses. I think we purchased one house. Then everybody down Worthy Road wanted their house purchased because of being too close to the road. And that's the reason for changing the direction. I think that recommendation may have come from URS to reduce the right-of-way that we buy.
The reduction in right-of-way will save in the cost of your right-of-way, the amount of right-of-way, the amount of money you're going to have to pay for right-of-way. It'll cost you extra engineering, but you're going to reduce it in right-of-way cost.
Councilman Thompson, you finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Savoy.
2 points. One is so far as changing right-of-way agents. I don't recall changing right-of-way agents. My concern that I'm trying to bring across to the council is I understand that we can save money today. Why didn't we know that years ago? That's what I'm bringing to the table. And here, 7 years later, you're coming up asking for additional money to reroute or redirect or whatever. That should have been caught up front earlier on. Now, I understand that we tried to move projects forward in the past. We've tried to fast track them, saying that we're going to get the right of way. Well, maybe that's not the right way to go. That's what I'm trying to bring to the table. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Ms. Fonda.
Well,
Discussion.
I just wanted to say that I'm just noticing, I got my packet Monday night after strategic planning, and unfortunately, I didn't really get to review it, except that I did get with Mr. Israel about the one that we just did on the relocation of the e-tail stuff, because they gave us part of the work when we was at the meeting the other night, but they didn't give us all of the information, so it was hard to break down the $59,000. This is a problem that we're having. When DPW comes to the meeting and brings us the information and explains all the ifs and ands and whys we do this, we don't have a clue about what the prices are out there for relocating stuff. We have to take their word for it. So then when we get our packet and we don't have the information in front of us, we did have information. We did at our Transportation Committee meeting. But that doesn't help you guys if you didn't get it in your packet.
And that's the problem. The information that was conversed and conveyed at these committee meetings needs to be included in the packet. And that is a problem. I can't expect council members that are not on that committee to sit around here and vote on something where they spend money and they don't know what it's spent for. We do have a committee system set up, and that's what it's for. It is coming, in my understanding, though, it is coming from the recommendations. All these are recommendations to move on tonight in a positive manner.
They were
right?
recommendations,
Okay.
but without knowing what figure we recommended, without seeing the work in front of us, it's kind of hard to say.
I understand, but y'all did review all this at a committee, and there was a motion made, and it was seconded to send it to council for approval.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Somebody over here, Mr. Hillenbeck.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Israel reported out the numbers on the motion. I call for question on the motion.
Mr. Hillenbeck is calling for question. We'll vote on the question. All wanting to we'll stop debate on this issue and vote. Anybody object to that?
No.
Okay, we'll vote on the substitute motion, which is to accept the engineering services of Worthy Road. Do I have any opposition?
I object.
Councilman Berger? Motion passes. Move now to agenda item D.
Item number D is engineering services for intersection improvements on project 23302, project 2A. Also, we do not have the paperwork in front of us for that. Do you have it, Mr. Israel?
I have a copy, but I think I'd be better off if the committee passed on that until the next meeting. I will make sure the full council has copies of that and an explanation of it.
Move to pass.
Moved by Councilman Schaefer, second by Councilman Barrett. Any discussion? Councilman Savoy.
Ms. Fonda, are we taking up D?
Agenda item D.
Yes, item number D.
All right. What was given to us at the Transportation Committee, it seems like we're coupling up D and E. That's why I'm questioning. Here again, in March 18, 2003, the council went into agreement with GSA for 9 intersections. 2003, to provide engineering services on 9 intersections. 3 intersections have been completed to date. 3 since 2003. I need an explanation from administration or the department on why it's taking so long to get these 9 intersections done? What's been the holdup? What's been the problem?
May I speak, Mr. Chairman? We're all over the place here.
Well, once again, just as Councilman Savoy, if your goal in discussing the situation is to suggest that you're going to vote against this because of what you're asking, then I will allow it. But if it is to debate the situation, that should have been done in committee, which you attended, right?
I did. Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's my point. One thing, this is a business meeting, and so I don't want to get into the debate on the road widening project under the guise of we got this one section or something we're going to pay here. I'm assuming, because Ms. Fontenot didn't say anything, this came out as a full recommendation of the committee, and that's where I'm having trouble. So if you're going to make a substitute motion to deny this, then I'll allow you to continue your argument. If not, then we need to move on.
My objective, Mr. Chairman, is to give me some explanation on my question so that I will know if to vote yes or no, because if it took 4 years to get 3 intersections, I may not want to support giving the 6 to the same firm. Maybe we need to split it up so we can get the job done.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on just a minute, Mr. Jones. I understand your point of order, but I'm not going to listen to it this present time, okay? Mr. Savoy, if you're going to make a motion, let me explain this again. If you're going to make a motion to deny it, then you can have your argument. I don't think there's anybody here to answer questions. Mr. Shaheen is here, who is the GSA, but unless Mr. Israel can answer that question, which I don't think he can, Mr. Rue is not in attendance, and we don't have anybody from DPW. If Mr. Parish President wants to take a shot at it, then he can take a shot at it.
I'll take a shot in just a couple of comments, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay. If
take a shot at answering this question.
Yeah, can you answer the administration?
Let's not get too lengthy on
no. Obviously, in 2001, I was nowhere around this situation, so going back to the first part of the discussion with the road widening, so and I'm not sure Mr. Rue was even in place at that time, so we'll have to research that, Mr. Savoy. Now, as far as these in 2003, the intersection improvements, URS wasn't in place then either, so we'll have to research that. But my understanding briefly is that whenever the previous council administration in 2001 developed this list of road widening projects, that then many councilmen started changing their minds when people living along those roads expressed a desire not to have some of them widened. And so I understand that delayed the process with the 2001 widening program. And so you've got several, it goes back to right-of-way where letters were sent out paying right-of-way agents for roads that later members of the council at that time, but some of them have told me, asked of the road to be taken from the list. And I think it was 14 originally. So that's really all I know. I can't find anything necessarily of legal binding things in parish files going back to one document that this member of the council in 2002 called the Public Works and said, look, I'm getting a lot of political heat on widening this road. Please take it off the list. Now, how that was all done, it's been very difficult to ascertain, other than just talking to some of them who are no longer on the council, and they did express to me that they did that. So, as I understand it, that was part of the problem there with those 14 roads and the widening. Now, if that happened on intersection improvements, I don't know.
All right, let me bring everybody back in focus. The motion actually on this agenda item was to actually defer this, and a second was given. And so essentially we will have time, because Ms. Fontenot, you will put this back on the agenda, and we will have time to discuss the situation that you would like to be brought to light. Mr. Hillinsback.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Savoy can research this or request a consultant, member of the DPW administration to
yes, sir, I just
come
said
back
that.
with that information.
Okay.
And,
all right.
I think we need to
yes,
have
sir.
a question on this.
Okay. Any other discussion? Any opposition to defer? So moved.
Did you
Ms.
include
Feinberg.
E? Was that just D, or we're going to do the same thing with E?
But then I would suggest that we just take it E, and I'll recognize a motion. Mr. Shake Snyder moves that we defer.
Second.
Second by Councilman Barrigo, was that, or Mr. Hillensback? Any discussion on that deferment? Any opposition? E is also deferred. Agenda item number 5. F on number 11. Ms. Fonno, you still got the floor.
That's correct. And Mr. Israel, do you have those list of roads?
The only thing I have is
Well,
read them off of
We
here.
can read them off of here. This is fine.
Okay.
The roads to be accepted was number 1, Jefferson Crossing, 4th and 5th filings, Springwood Avenue, Westlake Drive, and Long Lake Drive.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry. Vice President had my attention. Who moved? Mr. Dempsey Lambert moves, second by Mr. Shake Snyder.
Mr. Barringer.
Mr. Barrigan.
No, it was me.
I'm sorry.
Who seconded? Mr. Hillensback. Mr. Lambert moves, Mr. Hillensback second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Shake Snyder.
Mr. Chairman, we have all the information on these roads, and they have everything here, and we also approved them at committee, and I'm for this.
Any other discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Ms. Fontenot.
Okay, we have a second set. Summer Lake Subdivision, Summerbrook Avenue, Summer Trace Avenue, Summer Wind Avenue, and Riverstone Drive.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Todd Lambert. Second by Councilman Thompson. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item number 12, Strategic Planning Committee, Chairman Shake Snyder.
No report at this time.
Thank you, Chairman. Agenda item number 13, Finance Committee, Councilman Barrigan.
No report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. General business, agenda item number 14, a resolution to accept a 1994 Dodge Ram pickup truck bearing VIN number 1B7K C26C4 RS536058 from Dona Roland J. Robert Distributors Incorporated.
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Chairman Savoy. Second by Councilman Thompson. Discussion.
Does the resolution have to be read, Mr. Chairman? Does it have to be
No,
read by Mr. Babin?
Mr. Babin, you need to read it? No, he does not. Any more discussion? Any questions of Mr. Babin on this? Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item 15 will pass. Agenda item 16, resolution for the following line item appropriation. Emergency generators for fire departments, $50,000. Treasurer of the State of Louisiana,
So
Ms.
moved,
Martha
Mr. Chairman.
Collins, Grant
Second.
Officer. Hold on 1 second. Let's let Ms. Martha say what she has to say. Yes, Ms. Collins, do you have any kind of comment?
Just to say that these appropriations do come down from our senator and our representative that are taking care of Ascension Parish. So I appreciate the confidence in doing the resolution.
Moved by Councilman Barrigan, second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Thank you, Ms. Collins. Agenda item number 17, resolution to request the Ascension Parish Council approval to apply for the 2007-2009 Louisiana Emergency Shelter Grant and to authorize Parish President Ronnie Hughes to sign all documents pertaining to the application and/or Ms. Gwen LeBlanc, CFO, financial documents.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Councilman Barriga, second by Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any comments you want to make, Ms. Collins?
This is an existing funding grant that we do with Quad Area, so this is an ongoing thing that serves the parish. Thank you.
Any opposition? So moved. Agenda item number 17A, which is the two-thirds item, the expropriation of property. Mr. Babin, our legal authority.
If you have any questions,
So
what I
moved
need from
on.
you is a motion
Yes,
to
second.
expropriate and a motion to appropriate the $73,000 for me to deposit and register.
Move to expropriate by Councilman Barriga, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any motion? Any opposition? So moved.
Motion to appropriate the money, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Moved by Councilman Barriga, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. Mr. Nguyen, you can cut him a check. We'll move now to planning and zoning
Clerk of court,
recommendations. I'm sorry. Yeah, right, for the appropriation. We're moving now to planning and zoning recommendations. Mr. Lance Brock, the zoning official. Mr. Brock is not in the audience, as Ms. Fontenot alluded to. He had a tragedy in his family. We certainly wish him well and his family also. Agenda item number 18, zoning review ID 1657.07, a portion of a 37.86 acre tract of Aluris Abar property for Lance Roulette, located on the east side of Airline Highway, approximately 200 feet south of LA Highway 73, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to mixed use. Anybody prepared to go over this with us in Mr. Brock's absence?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Motion to accept planning and zoning's recommendation.
Moved by Councilman
Which
Barrett.
is to accept.
Point of order.
This is it's strictly for our review.
It does not say that, and that's what I thought it was. That's why I was looking for someone to assist me on this. Mr. Bourgeois, is this for review only? Okay, because it says zoning review, but it doesn't say that typically like it normally does. Okay, so the next two items are review only. Any discussion on that at all? Okay, we'll move to agenda item number 19 then, to reconsider zoning review ID 1631.06, to reconsider request for Kelly and Lisa Boudreau to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intensity residential to crossroads commercial, previously requested to change from medium intensity residential to mixed use. I am assuming that's for review only again, according to Mr. Bourgeois. Move now to agenda item number 20, the introduction of ordinances. Introduction of an ordinance, non-conforming use, to amend section 17-135 to amend the word non-conforming to the ordinance.
Motion.
Second. Motion to introduce the ordinance, second by, was it Mr. Todd Lambert? Any discussion? Any opposition? Ordinance is introduced. Agenda item number 21, introduction of an ordinance to revoke a 10-foot utility servitude running east and west, 20 feet north of the southern property lines of original lots 2A-A-1 and 2A-A-2 as shown on the plat survey of simple division of lots 2AA1 and 2AA2 of the Jimmy Gauthier property into 2AA1A and 2AA1B and 2AA2A through 2AA2C.
I move to introduce the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. McConnell, introduce the ordinance, second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion on the agenda item?
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Savoy.
Yeah, gentlemen, Ms. Fontenot, please take the map out and take a look at it. I've got a couple of concerns on this particular plat right here as far as moving forward with approving the revocation on this one at this time. This plat has gone through the planning commission one time as a family partition. It was denied. It was resubmitted as a simple division. It has not been passed by the planning commission at the present time. For us to approve revocation of the existing utility servitude now is premature to my belief. I would not want to approve revocating the servitude and then the planning commission turn it down. Then we've lost that servitude. There's a couple of other issues here, and we may have found a disconnect as far as when it comes to family partitions or simple division, because understand that we're dealing with just the 10-foot utility servitude, but we have the final say-so. If we catch it, which I feel like we did, then we can stop some of the adverse direction that some people are going to get around family partition or simple division of property. The Drainage Board and DPW has no objection to the particular utility servitude, but where is the drainage on this property? It doesn't say where the drainage is. Another serious factor is where are you going to bring the effluent to your sewer system? They do not have a ditch on either front or back. Not even the roadside has a ditch right now. Now, you know, state law says that you have to bring it to a parish-maintained ditch. Well, you got to show me where this is at. Otherwise, we're going to inherit this. So I'm going to make a motion, or a substitute motion, that we defer action on this until it comes back from the Planning Commission cleaned up a little bit.
I second that motion.
Substitute motion by Chairman Savoy, we defer to planning and zoning. Second by Ms. Fontenot. Discussion.
Discussion, Mr. Valentine.
Councilman Barron.
Thank you. I just thought of something, Mr. Savoy. I believe, and if staff knows, a simple division of property does not go to the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's just a staff meeting with the Planning and Zoning chairman. Does staff know if it's been in that direction, or?
Microphone.
Let you get away with it once.
Hopefully I'm going to say this correctly. When there are variances is in the loop of the request, which it has here, it has to go to Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Any opposition to the substitute motion? Substitute motion passes to defer. We move on now to public hearings and ordinance. Agenda item number 22, excuse me. Let me drink some water here. Public hearing to acquire a parcel of real estate by donation from Prairieville Volunteer Fire Department. Legal counsel, Mr. Back.
To accept the donation of a parcel of movable property from the Prairieville Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated for the purpose of fire protection. Be it ordained, the Ascension Parish Governing Authority authorizes the acceptance of donation of parcel of property situated in the Parish of Ascension, more fully described as Tract X1, containing 1.835 acres, as shown on a survey by Russell Mistrick, professional land surveyor, dated June 19, 2002. Ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 6-01 the Ascension Parish Charter. Ronnie Hughes, Parish President, is authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the parish.
Motion to open the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Hillensbeck to open public hearing, second by Councilman Savoy. Any opposition to open the public hearing? Public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this agenda item, please step forward and sign in with the parish secretary, and you'll have 3 minutes. Move to close the public hearing by Mr. Hillensback, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Public hearing is now closed. We'll move now to the ordinance.
Moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Todd Lambert to move the ordinance, second by Chairman Savoy, Councilman Savoy. Any discussion? Any opposition? So moved. We have a donated property. Agenda item number 24.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Barriger moves to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilman Savoy. We stand in adjournment. Thank you.